be talking about mainly is just voice control, switch control, Siri, anything that's more the hands-free stuff. Uh, we're always up to hearing things that are not Apple specific, but we're going to be focusing on the Apple stuff. But sometimes it's good to hear about features that maybe aren't available, through the Apple ecosystem that we want to add. And feature requests are always greatly appreciated, with Apple. And hey, I want to make this stuff better. It makes my life easier. So, let's send them any of our requests we have. We have that Facebook group chat or that group, you know, Facebook group where we are, talking about voice control and other stuff. You can find that just by Googling, I think, talk voice control or something like that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that all of our past uh, meetings have been recorded and we have like an AI summary and then just the outline, all available on the website. So iansride.com under resources is talk voice control. So so that's available. So I feel like I don't need to really introduce myself much to all of you. Uh, I, I want to hear a little bit more from you, Justin, but we'll get there. But yeah, my name's Ian Mackay. I'm paralyzed for 18 years, and I started working with Apple about 10 years ago, and I've been consulting with them ever since that. Um, I got asked to start testing voice control about a year before it was released, and it was really weird because I couldn't tell any of my community or my family or anybody, and I'm sitting here with with this cool information. I know it's going to change so many of our lives, and me just sitting there like in a corner trying to hide, talking to my phone. But it was so great when it did come out, and it's been really awesome to just have the ear, to the company that's making, my independence, at least through technology. But yeah, I live in Port Angeles, Washington, and certainly uh, use the technology every day. But I also wanted to introduce Todd, who's kind of my co-host here, who is going to be able to help a little bit more. I'm talking about some of the new Siri AI, and he's like the Mac expert, right? I mean, I'm using the iPad and the iPhone a lot, but he knows so much more about the Mac, and we're lucky to have him. So, Todd, give
Yay.
us a rundown.
Hello, everyone. I had a spinal cord injury in 1983. It left me a C4-5 quadriplegic, so I basically have no movement from the shoulders down. And so voice recognition has been a real boon to my productivity. And so, yes, I love it. Like Ian says, I probably on the primarily on the Mac where I'm the most productive, but I utilize it on iPhone and also uh, iPad iPad Pro. So it's a great tool, and I'm glad the community is talking about it because I'd like to see Apple continue to improve it for many years to come.
And where do you work, Todd? Because you do everything you do with by voice.
Yeah, I work for one of those mean memory companies called Micron, who's raking in the dough right now, selling all our memory to AI companies. So, yeah, we're one of the three major DRAM producers. Samsung, Hynix, and Micron's the only memory producer, a
Mm.
US owned memory producer.
And
So that's pretty nice.
how long you been there, Todd?
It'll be 31 years in October, full time.
Yeah. And he's been using voice, and think about 31 years ago, I think he was using what, Dragon with DOS or something like that.
Dragon Dictate for DOS. And uh, shortly after I got hired, we got upgraded to Windows 3.1, which is really bad, but uh, it was an improvement. But yes, it started on DOS.
But love that, Todd. Programming with with Dragon for DOS is pretty awesome. But glad you're
I,
here.
my claim to fame is I typed all my papers for school with this.
Wow. Well, that's what we're gonna do now. Is I wanted to go around the room a little bit,
Oh,
and let's introduce you.
I want to say to Jeanette,
Yeah,
um,
go for it.
I was introduced to Dragon Dictate for DOS in college, but from the disabled computing program.
mm.
However, it was so far away from where I lived, I had to type my assignments with a mouse stick. So you're
Oh,
typing with your hand, I got a stick in my mouth, and I'm
Okay.
typing one character at a time, which is
okay. Eat
confusing.
So,
me.
did they have on-screen keyboards back then?
No, no, I just use a regular keyboard,
Wow.
tapping the thing one at a time. Good
Okay.
thing my teeth were very strong at that time, because as
And
soon as I joined Micron, put that thing down and used voice recognition.
was it horizontal? Or, I mean, how are you even tapping this sucker? I mean,
Yeah.
was it vertical? I mean, were
No,
you at
no, it
the
was just
point?
on an elevated desk, and I was
Okay.
leaning down typing on it.
Oh man. All
It
right.
was nuts. Try programming one character at a time. Yeah, I'm amazed.
Well, you must have been good to be hired, 31 years ago as a mouth typer.
Well, I graduated college with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, so
Yeah, yeah.
I had a,
And you did all that when with the disability, right?
yep, with a disability and the mouse stick,
Oh,
because
God.
back then there was nothing that I could afford. It was like $7,000 for a disabled discount, and I was a starving student, and I had no money for that.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, glad you're here, dude. And man, quite the story. But Tammy, you're the first on my screen, so tell us a little bit about your story. And I know you're probably not using voice control a ton, but yeah, I can take you off mute or ask you to unmute.
Hi, I'm Tammy. I live in Greer, South Carolina. I'm C3 through C7, T1 through T2. I just got the iPhone 17 Pro Max.
Who?
Man, this thing is awesome. I'm still learning,
Uh-huh.
but I use voice control all the time. I tell Siri to shut off the alarm, to turn the TV, to turn up the volume to my music. So yeah, a lot of things.
Well, we're we're glad you're here, Tammy, and that iPhone 17 Pro Max I'll be getting to play with here pretty soon, but I bet it's a speedy sucker.
Oh, it is very speedy. And I'll tell you what, I still don't know what everything does on this thing.
All right, Jeanette, you're next on my screen.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I've already been really verbal. I was injured in 1992, so that's like 34 years, I think. And yeah, I was late going to school. I did all my education after my injury, and yeah, I typed all my stuff, and I got the bachelor's degree in social welfare.
What
Went
is
on.
your injury, Jeanette? Did I miss that?
Oh no, C67. So I have triceps, which
And
is
what was it? What was the accident, or what was the?
I, I rolled my car several
Oh, okay,
times.
all right.
And yeah, and I had a 3-year-old daughter who is now 37, and I have an 8-year-old grandson who's teaching me a lot about technology.
I bet.
Um, but yeah, I went to school. And then I was an independence trainer in a rehab center for newly injured spinal cord injuries. And then when I got my degree, I became a social worker and did social work visits. And yeah, before I retired in 2019, I I was already using my phone verbally to do all my notes, which was huge because the documentation with the medical system is horrendous, and it was just so easy to visit a patient, go outside, and then dictate all my notes. So yeah, my daughter, when she went to college, she I had a PC and it blew up or whatever. And she went to college and we got her a MacBook. And she said to me, Mom, get a Mac. It's so intuitive, you'll love it. And I'm like, I'm too old to learn new stuff. And she was right though, and I've been an iMac user ever since. So
Yeah. I'm
But I
embarrassed to say I'm on a Windows machine right now, but I do love my Apple for all my mobile tech, and I really am trying to get more
no, I love it.
into the MacBook. Yeah, and you guys are, and Todd and you, everyone's trying to really
I
push me
wanted
in
to
that
say
direction.
to Tammy about the phone. I've got an iPhone 13 and I still don't know how to use all of it.
Yeah.
And my new Mac that I got last year, my iMac, I use a tenth of what it can do probably. So
One thing, Jeanette, to know is with the new features, I think they'll probably be coming out in September publicly. You will need an iPhone 15 or higher to
yeah,
utilize some of the new features. Just so you're
yeah,
aware of it. But I'm on a 14, for my work phone, so I certainly not far ahead, not far ahead of you.
yeah. It's in the works to,
Well, they're not
I'm
cheap,
lucky enough to
man.
have I like my son-in-law is works for Apple in Temecula, so
Okay,
I'm in Southern California.
there you go. Use those contacts.
Got a foot in the door or will.
All right. Thanks for being here, Jeanette. All right, Ian. Oh man, an overachiever over here. So tell us about you, man.
I'll keep it short, and I apologize.
You could talk for hours, I think, about your accomplishments.
I apologize if my audio isn't good today. I'm having
Nope,
some tech issues.
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Is it okay? Okay. So hi everyone. My name's Ian Price. I'm in Canada, live in British Columbia. I have a consulting company. I also one of my primary clients is Technology for Living, where we provide assistive technology and support to people with physical disabilities in British Columbia, Canada.
Nice. And what is your disability there, Ian?
I have spinal muscular atrophy, so a progressive neuromuscular genetic condition. And I use a lot of technology, lots of voice control. I'm primarily a PC user, but as with the other Ian, who doesn't know how to spell his name, I use a lot of Apple devices for mobile use.
And how do you like the lip sync?
I love the lip sync. It's
Now,
amazing.
has it failed on you before? Is this the original one you got? I mean, I know they're pretty affordable if they do break, but just curious.
No, this is so. I was fortunate enough to be a beta tester
Yeah, yeah,
for newer lip sync, and it's been working remarkably well. I think the thing I love about it the most is, well, they fixed a lot of the issues like drifting, cursor drift and such from
okay,
the previous models. But just the ability to send them an email and say, "Hey, I would like it to do this," and then they send me a firmware update,
yep.
and it works. And so having
Well,
that communication with them um it has been a game changer.
we're talking about the mouse that he's using. That's called the
Yeah,
lip sync is
Oh,
that
yeah,
oh,
is.
the straw in front
Yeah.
of my face, kind of like Ian.
And Jesse's we're both using quad
Yeah,
joys. Yeah.
yeah. This one is a 3D printed device made
Well,
by
the most affordable option out there.
yeah,
wow.
and made by Makers Making Change, part of the Neil Squire Society. And the thing I love about it the most is the sensitivity. I have very limited lip and neck movement,
Yeah.
and so I've tried other mouth joysticks, such as the Joust, and it was too stiff for
Yeah.
me. And so
So you had to
that was,
move too much, you mean? You had to move more than you. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with this device, it's actually I think from 1 to 10 for sensitivity, 10 being the greatest, I believe I'm only at a 3.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, they did it good job.
No, it's a good device, and for especially for new folks that are on a limited income, and it's probably the only way to go. Uh,
Yeah.
Quadroid does have some cool, features that it offers too, but yeah, I think the lip sync is good to everyone to be aware of.
It's a good starter
Yeah,
device for
well,
sure.
and even I'm not trying to call you a starter, Ian, and you're still making good use of it. So
Well, no, but like because I have such limited head and neck and lip function,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
unable to hit other switches using my mouth. And so just as a simple joystick that you can do left click, right click, hold, etc., it works quite well.
One thing I like about the Quadroid that they're instilling or they've introduced is like you can hold up to one quadrant, like to the top right, and then you can sip or puff or whatever, and activate different macros. So
Nice.
I've not really dove into that too much. I'm just using it as a mouse, but
Yeah.
I think there probably is a lot more you could do with it than I am currently. All right, on to unless I didn't want to cut you off, Ian. Unless you got something else to share. Okay, Justin, I don't know if you'd want to introduce yourself. I can ask you to unmute if you'd like.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Oh yeah, Justin, we can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. So I've had a long journey. I was injured in 2017 in an automobile accident.
Okay.
Um and we were rear-ended, and then my head went into the ceiling of the car, and that's what snapped my neck. And so I am a C3, C4 complete.
Okay.
So I have shoulder movement, and I'm gaining a little bit of feeling towards my elbows and things like that.
So you're
So
9 years out? Is that what you said, Justin? Right
yeah,
around?
9 years out.
Okay.
And there's a lot of things that goes ins and out, but primarily before my accident, I was a scientist.
Okay.
So I was in a lab and I worked primarily with PCs. I would say I was a power user, a PC power user.
Yeah.
I mean, I was coding for Visual Basic, doing macros for Excel. I was doing all that kind of stuff. So, I was really adept at using my hands with the keyboard and the mouse. So it was a huge shock when I got injured,
Yeah.
obviously.
Of course.
So I was a PC person my whole life. Like that's what I learned on. Todd was mentioning Windows 3.1. That's when I entered into computers.
Okay.
So I understand the floppy disks and all that kind of stuff. But now, post accident, I got a degree in mental health counseling as well as neuroscience. And so I work as a research assistant in the science lab that I got my degree in.
Well,
And
where are you out of, Justin? Where do you live? Where?
I'm actually in Chicago.
Okay. Okay.
And I work at Northwestern.
All right. Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah, so it's the same lab that I got my degree in.
Okay.
And so what I do for that lab too is I have everyone works with Macs. So I've gone from everyone using PCs to everyone using Macs. So I have MacBook Pros, I have an iPad, I have everything.
Yep.
Everything in the Apple system because it's so easy with the cloud. I can go from here, I can go to my office at work, I can go anywhere. I can be at, just cruising around downtown and I can access it on my phone if someone needs to get to me.
It is nice having all your mobile stuff and your main, computer all connected. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and so the other thing too is that I 3D print for our lab, so I do
Okay.
a lot of CAD work, which is computer system design. And so a lot of those files I could just send wherever.
Mhm.
I can control my 3D printer from my phone as well. And so I will print things for the lab. I also print things to, for charity purposes. But I use voice control and the quad joy
Okay.
interchangeably. Like I mean it's just part of my workflow.
Yeah.
I've used switch control on the phone through my chair.
Yep.
And it was fine. It was great. I prefer voice control.
Yep.
Um I am, like I said, I'm a power user, so I'm always concerned with let's do it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. My only comment on that is, I agree. I mean, voice control is going to be the most efficient way to use it, but occasionally you can be in maybe like a louder environment or something.
And
There,
I'm up and down
yeah,
the streets.
right. There are situations where switch control can be helpful. So
It's true, but what sucks for me is because I operate my thing based
you
off of my
can't
head. I have
drive
to
and
stop.
yeah,
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 I
yeah,
have to
yeah.
stop anyway. So yeah, you understand.
So you're head array, right? You're using
Yeah,
like
I'm ahead of
head.
Ray. Yeah.
So I use sip and puff, and I actually have a couple switches attached to my straw, and so
Oh,
I'm like cheating. I'm driving and switching away.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, I can't wear those big headphones. I like those big
Ah,
headphones. I will though. I live and die by the Power Beats Pro.
okay. Yeah.
The Power Beats Pro 2. If you want a headphone that will last you all day, like I'm talking 8 hours, just straight in your ear,
And they stay
just
in your
going.
ear well. You don't need to adjust
Yeah.
them much.
No,
Okay.
I mean, sometimes, like with my head array, I'll hit a bump and then
Yeah.
it'll like hit the side of it and cause maybe a little bit of looseage. But by far, I have spent more than I care to admit on headphones to find the perfect ones.
I hear you, man. No, I almost wear these more as earmuffs because I like going outside, and I live up in northern Washington, so they're handy. But
Yeah, yeah, same here. I can imagine they would be handy in Chicago too.
my biggest problem with like AirPods, or I mean, maybe I need to try some of the Beat stuff is, yeah, they can fall out, and if I'm out and alone, I'm on my own,
Yes.
it's like, damn, and you're all frustrated if you don't.
I can't speak. I have one comment for them. They changed the design.
Okay.
I have so I do have a problem with these. I have this is this is my eighth pair in my ear.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do like them. The problem is that, like I said, I wear them all day. So they
All right.
go in my ear at like 7 a.m. and they'll come out at like 9 p.m., 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're still alive, and sometimes, as they age, they get
Yep.
not as good. And that's why I've gone through so many, is because the earlier ones, the battery life wasn't as robust as it is now.
Yeah.
And I would say the first couple designs they had, the fit was better than the most recent design, but you're still it's a great, and they go on
Good.
sale usually on Black Friday kind of things. They're expensive a little bit, as you know.
As everything
Um
in our
as
world.
everything. But they will go on sale usually like for Prime Day. I mean, like big
Okay, good.
sales.
That's
Keep
good
an
to
eye
know.
out for them. But
Yeah, no,
yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
so voice control, I have lots of issues with voice control and
Well, we're
just
gonna get to that
suggestions and all that
too, and
stuff.
I can't wait to, we're all gonna be commenting a little bit on that.
All right,
Let's go through a couple more,
thank
and
you.
then we'll
Single tap.
dive into some of the other stuff. All right,
Press
Janelle.
16.
Janelle, you wanna give us a quick.
There I am. Okay, so my name is Janelle Hovde. I'm a senior white female that go by she/her pronouns. Part of the disabled community. Mine is not from injury. Well, yeah, more of it now is from injury all the time, since I've been doing more damage to myself, self-inflicted damage. Not intentional. But yeah, I was born. Mine are born. I was born with. So I was born with triple scoliosis and degenerative disc disease, amongst a few other things. And at this stage, everything has been going down the drain as I've been getting older. And I noticed more of it in my 50s, more of it in my 60s. And I just didn't want to admit to the fact that I was disabled. So here I am. So, Justin, first of all, you're from my hometown. So Chicago's my kind of town. Um, yeah, and you have to pay attention to what you're doing when you're moving around, or you get ran over. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and I'm learning from you guys because as things progress, my hands are going. They don't work as well, and I can't use a phone to type on anymore, and so it's voice control all the way on that. And I'm having to do the same thing now. Like bunch of you, I was Windows, so I initially started with computers. When we were still using DOS. So I learned how to use one playing Pac-Man, I think it was, or Donkey Kong, whichever one was out first. So I had this big honking machine sitting on my dresser trying to figure out what to do with it. Um, and then when we went to DOS, I was working with a company and I was doing so without voice control, but I was doing administrative type work with a program that was a DOS based. So every character, and you have to put in a control for every punctuation and everything else. So a lot of fun. I used Windows exclusively for a long, long time. When I left the technology field, and I went ahead and I moved over. So we had to test both Mac and the Windows OS. So we moved multiple times in the window, and I decided at one point, part of it is what you're echoing, is that it's nice to have everything coming together. And so slowly I've moved over to Mac, but I'm probably going to get another Windows machine just because it does things that I can't get the Mac to do.
Yeah.
And I want to be efficient. So anyway,
Well,
but I'm learning lots from all of you guys. Thank you so much for your knowledge and your experience and your
oh, just glad you're here, Janelle.
thanks.
And I hear you too, just change. Some of us just don't want to change. It's we
Yeah.
get used to what we have and let's just stick with it. Jess, all right, Jesse. You want me to you can
Hey,
unmute.
I got it. Yeah. Hi guys. Um, I'm Jesse, obviously, and I had a bicycle accident trying to do a front flip on a hardtail mountain bike. Well, that was just over 17 years ago in Anchorage, Alaska, where I was living, and I now reside in Tacoma, Washington. And when I was doing rehab at UW, University of Washington in Seattle. And during my stay there, I was shown Dragon and also the Quad Joy. And so I have been using both of those for the entirety of my injury. So Dragon Dictation, yeah, something great, awesome. And then when voice dictation came around, for uh, the iPhone, it was a game changer. And yeah, thanks for a good buddy Ian here. Uh, yeah, for the most part, absolutely love it, right? I would say like, okay, I have a few issues with it, but those are more like my issues of not enunciating well enough.
Yeah.
I, but yeah, so that's me in a nutshell.
Glad you're here, Jess. And yeah, we've kind of started learning this tech together. It was at his house where I first heard about switch control for the first time. So
Yep.
interesting. All right.
Hey, interrupt for 1 second.
Yeah, Jeanette, go for it.
Jesse, I don't know if you heard about Kim, but if you want to message me later, I can let you know some stuff. Okay?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Kim?
Kim, our mutual friend Kim from Alaska.
Oh, Kim Starkle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
You
I
guys
will
can
do that.
share that information in the chat too.
Yeah.
Uh, is it Denise? Is that you on iPad too? I don't know if you want to chime in. You don't need to, but I thought that might be you on the iPad too. If you unmute, well, you can say something. No big deal if you don't. And until then, when I was in the hospital 18 years ago, and figuring out how the hell life was going to go forward, being a quadriplegic, there was peer support that would occasionally come into your room and talk to you. And there was this one gal named Misty who happened to come into to my room and was my very first, peer mentor. And welcome, Misty. And I don't know, you want to give a minute or two telling us about you?
Hey, yes. Ian was not one of my first, but yeah, it was just great going in the room and seeing Ian. Unfortunately, but it's like he's an awesome person to know, and I'm glad that I was able to, just help you out even a little bit. Yeah, I missed you. Oh, crap. Cancel. 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 Stop listening. When I talk, it starts pushing buttons. So I'm Misty. I am from Modesto, California. I am 24 years post. Just passed into June 1st. Um, and let's see what happened to me. Car accident. What else are we talking about in general?
Oh, well,
Sweet.
you're in Modesto. You've been using
Yeah.
voice control for some time now.
I have been actually. I was on a Samsung for quite a while, and Android wasn't very great. The only thing about Android was it would read my messages to me and that kind of thing, but I wasn't able to type or anything for a long time. Um, so I was able to switch to an iPhone when my mom was retiring hers and getting a new one. So I was like, yeah, I'll take the hand-me-down. That's kind of what I generally end up getting. Is I get the hand-me-downs from everybody else, which is fine. I'll take anything I can get. So I'm on an iPhone XR right now. So it's quite old and it's very
It
slow.
is old, yeah. 10,
Yeah.
iPhone 10, wow.
Yeah, I don't know when I got it. I probably got it like probably 4 years ago. I don't know. This is my first iPhone that I had, so yeah. But it's much better. The only thing I don't like about it is like sometimes like when you can't scroll down, I hate. I just like even for anything like Alexa when I'm watching TV, it's like scroll down, scroll down, scroll down.
So
And
we've got a solution to that that's coming right
I
up.
saw
We're
that in the
gonna,
video, the descriptions.
yeah,
That's great.
that's gonna be
Um,
exciting.
And then I don't do use switches, but I know with the switch control, like you can like move things smoother, like move the mouse smoother and do things like that as well.
I think switch control is just a good thing to know about and be aware of, and can help you get in a pinch, get out of a pinch when voice control fails, right? I mean, it's just
And it
one.
happens to me often.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
can use like, Siri to usually turn off and turn on voice control. That'll work. But, sometimes just switch can be really valuable that way.
Most of the time, Siri doesn't work for me. I didn't realize that I had her off for a while, but I turned her back on. But then actually, I think last week I accidentally called 911.
Oh,
So I called
gosh.
emergency services and I was able to hang up fast enough, but then they called me back like a few minutes later. They're like, emergency services, do you need us? No, I'm so sorry. I was just Siri trying to listen to me finally. But she finally listens to me and she calls, emergency.
Oh, all
But
right.
it's okay. At least
Well,
it works. But yeah,
glad you're
that's
here,
me.
Misty, and thanks
Sorry.
for all that help 18 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm glad to see you moving on and helping everybody else.
All thanks to you, really.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put you on
Would
mute
you
if
mind
you want.
muting me? Thank you.
You got
Yes.
it. All right. I'm going to jam through some of this because I want to get to the fun stuff and I want to get to where we can talk about problems and things we like about the feature. First, anyone really new to voice control, just be aware of that voice control tutorial, right? I mean, it's so valuable. It teaches you a lot of little things, and even with every update, they do introduce those newer features within that. So sometimes it's good to go through that tutorial. When there's been some major changes, more likely a whole new iOS, not just an update. And then just some terminology stuff, right? Whenever you have your number labels up, like tap 7, tap 8, those are labels, and those are labels for an element or a button, right? So those are just, terms we're going to use as element and labels, just so you know. Um, the other thing I always want to mention is show commands. It's funny, I say the same thing. But show commands is such a great command because it's just a really easy way to bring out all the commands that you can use with voice control, and they're organized in a nice way. And again, sometimes new things are added and you don't even realize it, so it can be good to scroll through that once in a while. Also, just a quick way to get to the voice control settings page, right? I mean, you just go to show commands and then go back, and there you are. I think I'd mentioned it earlier, but we do have that Facebook group, called Talk Voice Control with Ian's Ride. You can put any questions or requests in there, and I'm always happy to escalate those or push those up to Apple. Um, we've already talked about switch control, voice control. I'm not going to go there. One thing, Apple, right after our last meeting, they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, talk to the group, and if there's wish list, I mean, what are dream features you have? They are looking for those right now, and happy to share. I'm happy to put your name, to whatever it is. But if there's things you absolutely wish you could do that you're unable to do now, feel free to share them here or on the Facebook page, and happy to send those up the chain because." I always want this thing improved. Hey, I think we got a wish list. Go for it, Ian.
Okay, so I haven't been able to find this setting yet. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
missing something. But if
yeah.
if I ask to make a phone call, I would love it if it would prompt me
The
to
speaker.
say, do you want to call Ian Mackay? Yes or no? Instead of just phoning some random person because it misunderstood me and then having to ask it to hang up as fast as I can.
So you're talking with Siri, with HS is what you were saying, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Um, okay. No, I mean I think that's an interesting suggestion. And it's a different damn team. And I agree that is a because there's so often I don't mean to call someone and here I am, I'm on the phone with them. And I will send that up the chain. The only challenge is, I'm working with the accessibility team and sometimes making changes to Siri, which is, used universally by everyone in the world, for specific, but it could be an easy enough toggleable thing, right? It could be a
Yeah.
toggleable thing within Siri. And yes, I'll happily let them know that we need to have an option to, just say confirm or decline, calling whoever it said. So, yeah,
I think
good.
something to reinforce that is that some people with disabilities don't have the ability to have clear speech. And that doesn't mean it's just people with disabilities, but there are people that struggle with speech. So, I mean, that would just be another reinforcement, I think, to the toggle.
And 100%, I could say, you know, HS call Ian and, it calls Ian Reuter when I'm trying to call Ian Price or whatever, right? I mean, and so yeah, just being able to have that confirmation, I see value there. So I'll happily share that. That's a good suggestion. All right. Um, so yeah, and we can talk more about that at any time. But diving into some of, um, well, first I want to talk custom commands, right? Custom commands are something within voice control. We talked about in our very first meeting, which many of us missed, and I just think they can be so valuable, right? I mean, if you have a string of commands you want to make, you can very simply just say, start recording commands, do a series of commands, and then say stop recording commands, name it, and then you can just use that name to execute that series of commands. Super valuable. And I mean, for me, maybe it's just like insert email or your phone number or address, which I think many of this might become completely irrelevant with this really, really new update with this natural language and with the fancy AI Siri. But still, I mean, just knowing that custom commands exist and knowing that you can do that is good because who knows what kind of challenges these new fixes that they're introducing will bring. Um, but one other thing is sometimes I just like to put in a string of emojis, maybe for a birthday, right? There's like 3 or 4 like emojis I want to throw in. You can do that. You can't actually do it by saying start recording commands and then like, you know, a smiling face with hearts in the eyes or whatever. You do actually have to go into settings, accessibility, voice control, custom commands. And then you have to choose action, insert text, and I think you can actually just put them in there. But I don't know. Sometimes that's kind of fun, be it a congratulations, be it a happy birthday. It's just nice sometimes to put a string of emojis, or maybe that's just me. I don't know. Or even like a pre-written thank you or birthday message. Maybe that's tacky, but she, how many times you wish them happy birthday, and it's kind of the same phrasing. So you could quickly just say happy birthday or whatever. Maybe something a little more obscure, and just types out whatever message you put in there. Um, what I think one of the most valuable ways that custom commands can work for us is within grid. A lot of us have to use grid mode a lot, right? And there could be the standard grid setup, the layout, right? So it's whatever, maybe 7 columns and 5 rows or whatever that is. But a lot of times then you're having to narrow the selection. You're saying 5, and then you're doing 3, and then you tap 2 or whatever. So instead, you could have a custom command that changes the grid size. So you can say max grid, and like a much more densely packed grid can show up on the screen. And then you can actually just, click 124 or whatever it is, right? But it can be a lot easier than having to constantly narrow your selection by having, a very sparsely set out, less dense grid. Oh, something to consider. I certainly use that a lot, and um, especially
That's
with.
that's super helpful, actually, knowing that that's something we can do. I did just start doing like a 3x5, which is awesome for some of the apps I use. And I
Mm-hmm.
did have a question real quick, hopefully.
No, go for it.
You were talking about panning, right? Instead of just doing like
You can do
swipe
scroll,
down.
swipe, or pan. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but there was a way, it sounded like there was a way to increase the amount of panning. Like instead of just,
Yeah.
pan's not very much. But a scroll, or sorry, a swipe would be too much and a pan is not enough, is it?
I think the way I've suggested to get around that um, is it's more of a custom gesture rather than a custom command. And so then you're going to actually, a custom gesture basically is it's someone or you, if you could, um, doing something on your phone. Maybe it's a swipe, maybe it's a scroll, whatever action you do with your finger on the phone, it'll replicate that. And so you could do, something just a little bit bigger than a pan, a little bit smaller than a swipe. Just have someone kind of move their finger, up or down or whatever. And I think that is one way you could do it, but I don't know how else, right? Do you
So
see
that
what
would
I'm?
be a record, right? A
Yeah,
record, you do
it's a
that
it's a
and then name it.
custom gesture, right? Yeah, you have to go in and you have to. So custom gestures, I was going to talk about that next anyway. So um, why not go right to it? What I think custom gestures are most valuable for, and I've spoke about this before, but it's putting in your password when your phone is locked, right? I mean, so what you would do, because when you record a custom gesture, you hit start recording, it just brings up basically a blank box, and then people can touch or poke or whatever. So it's not showing you the numbers for your password. So what I do is I bring up those numbers for the password, then I have someone take a Sharpie and I make a mark on whatever numbers are appropriate for my password, and then have them press it in the order and this, as fast as they can, so that when I say magic word, it just pokes in those buttons really fast, and then, in I am. And so I think that's really valuable, aspect of custom gestures. But one other way I guess it could be useful is making different, you know, levels of swipe. But I think you'd have to label each one, right? To be like a swipe up versus a swipe down. You couldn't just, but it'd have to be like custom swipe up or custom swipe jet. Each direction would have to have a specific name. You couldn't just have, a
I could
certain.
come up with my own name for that amount
Yes,
and then just,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So there you go. I mean that's the only way I know how to, kind of create a certain distance of swipe or tap or whatever. But yeah,
Okay.
at least it's a way.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I think that was even on my list to talk about. So way to lead the conversation there, Jess. Oh, okay. So then there's, I was at the last meeting, I was like diving into it. I'm not going to go into all these awesome Siri shortcuts that we can use that are really going to make things awesome. And then the Siri AI comes out and it's like, okay, these are completely unnecessary now because, I can basically just speak what I want and it's going to do a series of commands for me. But know that Siri shortcuts are there, and that just can also do a series of commands or actions that you assign within the shortcuts app within your phone or iPad or whatever device. All right. So let's talk a little bit about this iOS 27 it's coming out. First, public beta, which most folks could all use, would be available around like July 13th or 16th, somewhere in that window. So if you really wanted to start using these features early, that's what you could do, and you'd have to sign up for public beta. Know that it, might be a little less stable than the standard, and usually you can only just turn your phone off and on. It'll get better, but know that if you're going the beta option, there could be more problems. But it's looking like it'll be publicly released around mid-September, and so that's when all of us will have access to these new features. And let's talk about that. First, auto scroll. Auto scroll is not available. Like I put a video together for you guys. I want to share, showing you how it works.
So is that like I start scrolling down, essentially?
Well, you just hold on, Jesse, and you're gonna
Okay,
see how
okay.
it works.
I'm so excited. Oh my God.
I, I am too. Let me share sound. All right, here we go. Go home. All right, just a quick example of the new show scrolling or show scroll, which is pretty cool. So let's check it out. Open settings. It is found in the overlay because it's basically another overlay. Click 4. Show scroll. All right, so here's the overlay, right? I mean, we can do click 4. That's going to go down a page. Click 1. All right. Click 1. We can also have sped it up or slowed it down there. Click 5. Click 3. Click 3. Click 1. Show numbers. So swipe down. You can also just say start scrolling, and it'll automatically start scrolling down. It's pretty handy. It's a cool new feature, cool new overlay. Just nice to be able to have an auto scroll with voice. But that's about it. Go. Very beautiful, beautiful video I threw together there just before our meeting. But right, I mean that's been pretty neat. I think that's you can do it with switch control, and I'm using it all the time. But to be able to do it with voice, so nice. And I think many of us have been requesting this feature, and about time that they finally was sound working there. Everyone got that. That was all good.
Yeah, yeah, we got it.
I didn't see any applause. I didn't see any
It
applause for
sounded
the
real good.
production value or anything like that. But that's okay. That's okay. Um, so yeah, I think auto scroll is one of the coolest new features out there, and I probably would have been doing more videos showing other new things, but I don't have that new phone yet. But I do want to talk a little bit now about Siri AI, and Todd, I want to pass it off to you here,
Lucy.
and because you have been experimenting a lot more. Thank you for the applause, Tammy. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right,
You're
Todd.
welcome.
Yeah. Um, I am very cautious about using beta software, so I never use it on my production devices because if you have to do a job and it breaks you, uh, then you're SOL. So I use it on spare devices, and so I have it. I have the new OSs installed on iPad and also Mac. And Siri AI is amazing stuff. Um, what's cool about it is they have, I don't know if you've read anything about this, but they have multi models. Some of them on the iPhone or your iPad run locally, and then for other general, knowledge questions, then they have a cloud uh, LLM that's much more knowledgeable, and I found it great.
But
Uh,
security, what you're saying with keeping it on device is pretty awesome.
oh yeah, yeah, and uh, I had there was an event that happened. My mom is elderly and she lives with me, and there was an event that happened, but I couldn't quite remember the date, and so I described what I was looking for to Siri, and Siri looked past through my millions of messages and found out the dates for me and gave me the answers, and that was just so cool. I really appreciated that. Um, I I've when filing some these feedback assistant tickets. I've written up some text to describe the problem, and then I went in and into the Siri app. I should tell you that there's Siri is available in a couple of different ways, where you can say HS
HS.
and then ask a question, and it'll answer you. But if you need to type something up more in depth, there's the Siri app, and that's available on iPhone, iPad, and Mac. And
It's a
so I
chat
was
bot too. I mean, it's a regular old chat bot as well as everything else.
right, and so I used that. I wrote a couple paragraphs about a bug I was experiencing, and I asked the Siri AI to refine what I said, and it did such a nice job. It talked about the current behavior, the expected behavior, and how to reproduce the issue. And so I'm loving it. It's great.
Well, I think
The-
formatting is something many of us with disabilities kind of takes the longest. It's like we can easily throw out the content, but then making it look pretty is like a pain in the ass. And so, being able to just throw in all the information we need for whatever application it's for and having it, format in a way that you want. I mean, that can be a huge convenience.
Well, as an engineer, I'm always writing very concise things that probably get too quickly to the point and don't describe it. If I was an English major, I can admit it'd probably be much better. But when you ask Siri to refine some that you've written, um, it did a great job, and I'm really excited about using this in the future. I have a subscription to, well, I've started out with ChatGPT, but I recently moved to Gemini, um, and there's getting close to me not needing that subscription and just use the free stuff and Siri AI. So,
But having it have full access to, your calendar and all your messages and all your
and
texts
mail, and
and
mail.
all of your email. I mean, it's a lot of information. And if it all lives on your device, you don't have to worry too much about security issues. But I mean, damn, that can be handy.
And
What's
and
up?
there's one place that I haven't tried is comparing documents or even finding a document that I don't know where the heck I have it stored. And so yeah, that's some exciting stuff. I see Ian
All
has his hand up.
right, all right, Misspelled Ian, what do you got for us?
A quick question. So is the vision for it to only be able to access native apps like the Apple Calendar, or will it also have access to, for example, Outlook?
Yeah, I think
I
that's
don't
a great
know.
question. Yeah.
I don't have those. I use Apple services.
Okay.
So, it'll be interesting to know if you could give it permission to Gmail or Outlook
Yeah,
Exchange.
or Google Calendar. So if, like for me, I really loved it. I use Google Calendar, and I wouldn't mind having Apple Calendar, but everything's already there, and I'll be damned if I'm going to move it all over manually
No,
to
but
Apple Calendar.
there is synchronization,
And there's
and
already synchronization built
I've
in.
had my Exchange calendar synchronized with my Mac calendar,
But
and
you have to do work to do that. When you can also just tell AI to sync the two calendars, and it says, okay, you may have to do this, but it does it all for you. It's pretty freaking handy.
yeah,
And so
and
that's
that's
the wonder about the Outlook stuff, right? Is just finding ways to give it access to it. And because I use Outlook myself, Ian.
and I'm excited about the agentic stuff that's going to come, and I haven't really tried any of that with Siri AI. I've done with other LLMs, but yeah, it's really exciting stuff. Right now, the iPad OS, the beta, where we on beta 2, um,
Yeah.
the Siri app is broken, so you cannot use voice controls and dictate into it, but it works just fine on the Mac. And so I reported that bug, and hopefully they'll get that fixed by next
And
beta.
Ian, unrelated to this call, but being a Windows user, I'm using the Hermes agent for all of my PC stuff, and that has access to all of my Outlook emails and every document on my
You're a very
PC.
brave person, Ian.
I hear you. I hear you. But it's right now. I think the latest and greatest, and I'm pretty happy with what it's able to do for me. But I would like to be able to have just one all-in-one, and so finding ways to get access. And if I just move most of my files onto a Google Drive and give it access to my Google stuff, that should be pretty simple. But it's a lot of uploading, and then just finding a way. Yeah, to migrate all of your Outlook documents into a Gmail or something. I don't know how the heck you would do it. But yeah, I bet you could just ask Siri AI how to do it or any other LLM, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you could. It'll tell you.
And it's a little bit rough right now. It doesn't always send you the right LLM, and but it's going to get better. This is just
Beta.
the
We're
first
beta two, beta one.
beta,
Yeah.
and so we'll have to wait for the production release. And I'm sure that this is our starting point, but they're going to add more and more. So I'm really excited what it's going to be able to do.
So I did throw a. Oh, go for it, Ian.
Yeah, I promise I'll stop. I'm just really
No,
curious.
man. You jump in
Uh,
anytime you want.
so what LLM is it using? Like, are they in partnership still with OpenAI?
It's Gemini now.
No,
And
Is
no, it's Apple's models that
well,
use Google's frontier models to train. If I can send you an article, or maybe I'll post that article to our Facebook group.
or put it in
And
our chat even, but
well, it might take me a while
okay,
to
you're right.
grab it.
Put it in the
I'll put it in the Facebook group. You look
okay,
for it
okay.
there, and it tells you how it is. It's not using Gemini. It is Apple's models. There's like uh, two or three on the device, and one in the cloud compute, and so it's all Apple. It used Google's knowledge, its frontier models, to train Apple models, but it's not using the Google products that they provide to
Yeah.
Android users.
I had thought that because OpenAI was the original partnering when they introduced this Chat GPT to an iPhone. But I thought that they had moved more towards the Google to Gemini for something. Maybe it's just like image creating or something. But
No, it's using the Google models, but
okay.
Gemini is our product. And so read
Of
that
yeah.
article and
Okay.
it'll explain what the setup is.
All right. So I did throw a couple like, things that I thought, potential ways Siri AI could be super useful for hands-free users, like
Okay.
at least in my, use case. And so, um, you know, I mentioned the Siri shortcut, so that's pretty much gone. I mean, it can pretty much create a series of commands from a simple request, where it says, what was that like I can say, what was that sponsorship idea I had, shared with Todd last month? And when Siri has access to your notes, messages, emails, and documents, it could quickly, retrieve all of that information and get it to you. But it could also act. So I thought this is a really unique way it could be used. Like let's say, I have 7 caregivers I'm dealing with, and I'm always having, people that can't make it, and I gotta, reach out to the other caregivers and figure out who can cover. But instead of saying open messages, text Rachel, ask if she can cover Friday, you could say find out if anyone can cover Friday evening care. Siri would identify the appropriate caregivers, send the messages, track the responses, and then summarize like who is available. That's pretty cool because it knows all of that, and it knows who these people are. It knows when their shifts are because I have that all in my machine. Or I'm always having to, because I'm all really involved in the trail world, and they're always wanting me to write like letters of support, right? I don't want to be a total cheater here, but when you do enough of them, they're all fairly much the same. And so, I could say, write a letter supporting the Braille Trail project. And, Siri would pull your previous support letters. It would draft a new version matching your writing style, include all the nonprofit information, and then it would show it to you and say, okay, is this what you want to do? Or you modify it from there how you want it? And I mean, I think, each of us have different lives and different ways that this could be really valuable for us, but it's going to just be some imagination on how we could use this to just speed up and make our days more efficient, in my opinion. Um, or even like saying, "Hey, when is our next voice control meeting?" And it would know you're not talking about talk voice control with Ian's ride or whatever, and it would, quickly pull the information. And I don't know. I think there's so many more, and that's uh that's just some of the things I got. You know, I want to open it up. I can talk forever about all
Mostly.
this stuff.
I wanted to also point out something I
Yeah.
forgot to mention. The natural language feature. That is really cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, it you can just describe something and it'll look for it and do it whatever you ask to do for it. Um, I've tried it out a little bit. It's on my iPad. Unfortunately, the Mac it does not have it. So no natural language commands or features on the Mac yet. But hopefully it'll come in the next year. But it is really cool. And I think is going to be best for third-party apps.
And
Apple's good.
websites and
Yeah,
websites.
yeah, yeah. And but Apple's good about their accessibility in their apps. They follow
Their labeling. Yeah.
yeah, their nutrition values or what the heck they call
Uh-huh.
it.
Li- Nutrition,
Anyway,
nutrition labels.
yeah. Anyway, the natural language stuff is very cool, and I think we're gonna be able to leverage that a lot on our mobile devices.
Yeah. Even just moving, I think just moving a cursor around, different words, where sometimes, move up 2 lines or select this sentence or phrase. I don't know. I think there might be some easier ways to do some things. But yeah, just being able to say, tap the blue square with the circle inside of it. Is pretty easy. Or long press at
Well,
this
you've
one
seen
spot.
you've seen the apps that you use, voice control, item numbers or names. Yeah, overlay is awesome, but they don't always get all the UI elements, and
No.
so to be able to describe the element and tell it you want to tap on it or double tap or whatever is huge.
It makes you not have to go to grid, is what it does, and so that's super handy. All right, Mr. Price, what you got?
Yeah, I'm really excited for natural language because I think that's one of the huge deterrents for me why I don't use voice control so much is because I'm impatient when for me right now it's faster for me to switch my wheelchair to Bluetooth mode and then move the joystick to operate the cursor, then to try and remember what all the different split gestures and such are, but to be able to just say, double tap the purple icon, and that would be amazing.
Yeah, and I think that what will happen is many of these calls we have, these talks, it's going to be like, how is what is the least amount of words? How do we describe things the best, right? I mean, it's going to
Mhm.
be interesting to just see how, how, I mean, I don't want to be using a paragraph to describe you know, a command, but it'll be, yeah, interesting to see how much information it needs to click the spot you're aiming for.
Well,
Yeah.
especially for new users, because I think that's something hugely intimidating for somebody with a recent spinal cord injury, for example, where it's like, okay, here's your new phone. Get used to not using it with your fingers, and here is an entire laundry list of commands you
Yeah,
need to memorize as you're in this transition phase.
100%. Yeah.
That yeah, it's a barrier.
Intuitive. It's intuitive and yeah, and people aren't having to try to learn, all these different overlays and how no, I agree. I think it's going to make it more accessible to everyone.
I have one more thing to give. This is this is important because you know how difficult it can be to use your iPhone or your iPad. And on my Mac, I use a special microphone that's good at, it's unidirectional, and it I can use it in noisy environments, no issues. But the challenges that you have when trying to talk to your voice control on your iPhone or iPad. And a feature they've added in this next release
Yeah.
is the support for Bluetooth, and including your
Third
iPod
party,
Airs.
they're no, they're pretty much all Bluetooth.
Yes,
You,
yes. So
all
Justin can
Bluetooth
use
headphones, microphones,
his
yeah.
Beats,
Well,
and
Beats are already an Apple product, right? Apple bought Beats, didn't they?
oh, I know,
Yeah.
but I think it's pretty much any Bluetooth
It
device.
is. It's any Bluetooth. So that is something that people. So the problem is, right, with voice control, it's even if you have AirPods in, or Beats or whatever, voice control still only is coming from your device. It's not listening through your headphones. And so the further away your device is, maybe the less it's going to be able to hear you. But having voice control go directly through your, third party or AirPods or whatever, probably will give us more accurate and consistent.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
I don't have a microphone for my iPhone because it doesn't really make sense.
yeah.
But I do have one for my iPad. And so that has made a ton of difference than trying to use the built-in microphones for the iPad. So,
All right, Justin, finally, there you are. You unmuted. I've been wanting you to chime
Oh
in.
yeah, no, I use Siri a lot. Because I actually go from I make like a maybe a 2 mile trek each way. So I am, and then I'm also like going like, who should I text? Who should I talk to? Who have I not talked to? I'm going through that whole index in my head, like when
Mhm.
you commute on your way to work. So I play this microphone game all the time. Um, because I'm in the city. I hear microphone, like, I have like
There's
ambulance. I
noise.
have
There's noises all around.
I
Yeah.
mean, my dog's barking. I have a service animal, so I'm talking to him.
Yep.
Like I push this. I fully understand. I push this to the limit because I'm talking to my phone, talking to the dog. People are talking around me. There's an ambulance. Like I understand that the environment I am in is very, very hard. So like I constantly like a Siri won't listen to me by saying HSs, which I'm assuming is
Yep.
what you guys say that
Because
as.
we don't want to activate everyone's
Yeah.
device.
or
So
Iris.
Yeah.
so if I say that and it doesn't work and I keep saying it, which happens and it doesn't work,
Yeah.
I can say open and then
Yep.
her name.
OS. OS.
I can say open and then that person's name and that'll work. But sometimes it's slow.
Hmm.
And I have a hard time. Like, I feel like I'll compose something and it'll only catch maybe a third of the sentence, and it's usually the last third. It
Yeah.
misses a lot of
It does miss the
my.
beginning a lot. I've noticed that too, Justin. Yeah, it does seem to miss the very
Right.
beginning.
And it also, like, let's say if I'm composing like a message through text message, like, through just regular voice control, if I go, okay, blah 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 blah, and I stop, and then I try to pick up again with like the word at, or the word for, or something like that, it has a very hard time picking that up.
Yeah.
It won't do it. I'll say for my dog, and it will pick up my dog. But let's say I was going to the
Or
whole
it'll
sentence.
activate the number four, or it'll pick
Yes,
them.
yes, yes. So I've noticed that's kind of a problem with
Well, and
that.
hopefully with these new microphones, that's going to resolve a lot of that, but we'll see.
Yeah, and so that's the major thrust of what, I have a hard time, and I have also I it's been recently doing this where I'll be like, send a message to so and so, and it will call somebody randomly.
Okay,
It'll
so
just be it'll just be like, I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm okay, but I
you're
need to call
echoing
you.
you're echoing Ian's request there, saying,
Yes,
okay.
I can't remember who said it, but I've called 911 several times. I've called 911 on purpose several times. That SOS feature, I don't know if anybody has
Yeah, yeah,
used
yeah.
that. I was stuck in an elevator that had no service, and it was an SOS feature, and I was just barely able to get a hold of 911. So I don't know how that's evolved, but it works.
Yeah,
So I've tested that feature out in real life.
yeah. Do you use any custom commands, Justin? Really?
You know what I'm looking forward to? And like I said, I use the Siri right now, as smart as she is, because I'm confused as when AI Siri is really going to be AI Siri.
Oh, it's coming, man. It's coming. It's just mid-September.
Yeah, so like when I'm gonna get a new phone when they release it this September. And I look forward to that. And I think what I look forward to is I control everything in my house through
Yeah,
shades and all that. And I
me
look,
too.
that resonates with me going being like, oh, I like the way my office is set up right now, and I feel like I can be like, hey, you know, save this as such and such. I think that'll be a useful thing.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to have these talks with just people who are using it regularly, especially in the disabled community, and what unique ways we're doing it, and being able to share those. And I don't know. You quit raising your hand, Ian. We just freaking start talking. You don't
Is it
need to
that?
raise your damn hand.
Okay, fair
That's
enough. So,
15.
He's
Chris,
polite.
I use HS to send text messages
Okay.
all the time, and I feel like there might be the same issue with voice control as well. Or if sorry, I should back up. If I open up a text message and then I click on the microphone icon to dictate, I
Oh, no,
why
okay. Interesting. No, okay. No, that works great. Yep.
why why does it never capitalize the beginning of the sentence?
Well, first, that's not voice control if you're clicking the
Sure,
microphone.
sure.
And I don't know why. I'm not sure what that even is. It's just the standard dictation that they had before voice control, I guess. But no, I certainly could raise that bug. I mean, it should, right? If it's a sentence, it should always start capitalized.
Right.
That microphone just should be disabled because every once in a while I will say the number of the microphone
Uh,
and then turns it on. So then what I'm doing is just saying go back and then
yeah,
back to
for
them
go
whatever I
home
was
or
doing.
whatever you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's an example, Mr. Price there. I mean, he finds that thing useful, so we don't want to eliminate it because some people utilize that. Do you have a reason why you prefer that over just, speaking to the straight to the message?
Because I prefer to keep voice control turned off. Otherwise, it chimes in when I'm not speaking to the phone.
Yeah. Well, oh, I get you.
Okay,
I
and
see.
then one more complaint. I know this isn't voice control, but you're my connection to Apple, so please get them to fix this.
All right.
Why is it that every single Apple device responds to HS and they don't have other wake
So,
words?
there are certain ways that you can do this, and Chad actually had like some real interesting, and he's not here tonight. But first, I mean, you have OS, right? I mean, you're familiar with that. You know, you can use Open Iris. Have you,
Yeah?
you know,
No,
so
I use that.
you don't use it. Well,
Yeah, it
right
works
there.
great.
So that's a great thing. I mean, you can use that. And so let's say you have an iPad and an iPhone. If you don't have HomePods or anything else,
Yes.
then you can disable HS on one device on your phone, and then enable
Mhm.
OS, which is Open
Mhm.
Iris, and so then you're able to isolate which devices by just choosing a different.
Amazing. I'll check into that. But then what happens if you have an iPhone, an iPad, and a HomePod all in the same room?
All right. Now we're getting into some more tricky stuff, right? And that is a challenge. And one thing, yeah. What I do is I use switches to activate,
What do you have?
Right,
Iris
that's
most of the time with my main device, right, or whatever. I use a Tekla, so I'm always switching between devices, and so yeah, I use Switch to activate my phone. I use OS to activate my iPad, and I use Switch or just HS to activate my HomePod.
gotcha.
But it is, right? I mean, I agree, and I wish, and I've asked that we could have a little more customization on how we bring her up.
Mhm. I can I interject?
Yeah, Justin, please.
I have two big ones, huge ones, two big
Okay.
ones that one of them is, I don't know if this is everybody else, but I have a lock screen,
Got me.
and I have the numbers on there, and I have a code that I punch in. Now the numbers don't match what the numbers actually are. So if I want to press a zero, it's not actually the zero anymore. It's some other number. Is this like a security feature that I have on there?
It is. It's stupid. There's a couple ways around it. If you say show names, then it actually does identify it by the actual number
Oh, okay, okay.
instead of that's one way. But what I do, and I don't know if you heard me share it earlier, is make a custom gesture, man. You do it so often that you just have someone else. Um, you create a custom gesture, like I was mentioning, just
Hmm.
a blank box, and so you have to like make some Sharpie marks, on the screen where the actual numbers are, and then just have someone poke in that in the right order, touching those Sharpie marks, and then you just create a command, and then every time you see that command, it's just going to type in, whatever they poked.
Punch those, yeah.
I mean,
I
I got a
gotcha.
hot tip on typing on the keypad. You put saran wrap over your screen
yeah.
before you label the numbers, and then you don't have to clean up your screen afterwards.
Well, it comes right off. It's even hard to even make it appear, really.
So I think I might have missed it if you said it earlier, but where do I find that to create the custom gesture?
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, so that's just going to be
Mhm.
within voice control. I think it's within custom commands. And all right, Tammy, we'll see you next time. Yeah, it's within custom commands. I can't remember exactly, but I mean, you could just
Okay, so
type
in
search. You could
settings,
just type search custom gestures if you wanted in settings. It'll bring you right
in
to it.
settings. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah, but it's within voice control if you want.
And then my second complaint
Okay.
is that I, since I live in Chicago and I'm always outside, I have variable things covering my face. I either have, a lot of sunglasses, I have a scarf, I have a hat, I have watch. So face control, and also my mount kind of tilts to the side. So sometimes, it just won't recognize it, and I understand that. So what I do is I
You're
have
talking about unlocking your phone, right?
Yes, unlocking my phone,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because I want to unlock it with my phone because with my
Your face.
face,
Yeah.
because I'm constantly on the move. But what the thing is that like sometimes I would just have the lock screen just never lock. That's
Yep.
not an option anymore.
Yeah.
That's my bugaboo.
Well, I think first you put that custom gesture in, and I don't think you'll be worrying about that anymore because it's so easy to use
Okay.
the voice control command. Um, but but yeah, I have that issue with lock screen too. And so what I have open notification center on all the time, most of the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's just easiest for me. But I bet you if that you create that custom gesture, you won't have that problem anymore because
Okay.
I'm a sip and puff user, right? And I got that straw in front of me, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's really obscuring, obscuring my
Same thing
face.
with the mouth mouse. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you mean. That's the other
right,
scenario. Yeah.
right. So yeah, I think just having that single command that just types it right in will uh,
Gotcha. Thank you.
will solve that problem for you. Well,
Single tap.
man, we're just knocking problems
Press
out left and
15.
right, guys. Any any other challenges? Any other challenges we got out there?
Okay, follow-up question. Is OH only on the iPad? Because I can't see
Oh,
it in,
oh,
in
OS? Oh,
sorry, yeah.
yeah. So, but no, it's on iPhone and iPad.
Where why don't I see it on on my phone?
Well,
I'm in the talk and type to Siri.
did you type in just open SIRI in the search to see what?
Okay, I'm on it.
Try that first
Okay, okay.
before I before I navigate and try to find it. I also find, geez, with man with AI now. Feel like I have any obscure question. It's like I just throw it in there and the answer comes up so quick.
There was somebody who was talking about having multiple devices in the room,
Okay.
and I constantly go back and forth from my Mac, my phone, and
Okay.
sometimes my son's on the iPad at the same time. I constantly use go to sleep specific device.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Go to
Yep.
sleep specific device,
Go
that'll
to
work
sleep
too.
iPhone, go to sleep iPad, go to sleep Mac. Yep.
Yeah, and then I find that really works really well. And then also if you have one that has like no Siri on it, you can say open,
Yeah.
said device, and then you know which one you're reaching. So you can kind of manipulate the system that way.
You can, and knowing that OS will not work when you have a lock screen. So
True.
if one device has a lock screen, you know that OS isn't going to activate it. And
Yeah, you can also say lock phone.
yeah,
I don't want to say that
lock
too loud
lock
because it's
screen, yeah,
gonna get my
whatever.
comments.
But
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, but just
Yeah, no, I'm trying to talk over you so it doesn't recognize that.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Mhm.
I got this damn I have a documentary coming out and in it I say HS like multiple times and whenever I'm like
Single
reviewing or
tap.
watching it with someone in the house, I'm like la 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 la, right
Press
when it's
15.
going
Hmm.
just so it won't.
You
So
know, though, I was listening to a podcast, and uh, they say that during like football games, just to ask, Iris,
yeah,
and
yeah.
for some reason it never triggers anything on me.
It doesn't because it's supposed to be voice specific. But that's the problem in the documentary is my voice. And so so it's all
Well,
screwed
what
up.
I heard was that Apple took a few frequencies out of it, and
They
so that was
yeah,
it why it's not being recognized.
because
But
they definitely have because in I've done those commercials for Apple where I'm saying HS and it does not activate my device. So there is my voice and it's not working. So there's definitely something that they can
they
do.
do, yeah, they've done some tweaking on the audio so that it won't be recognized on their devices.
Yeah. Mm. Well, that's good stuff,
I
man.
just want to remind Justin that I don't know if you've been out to the Facebook group, but that's a great place to ask questions. So if you're having any troubles with macOS voice control, or what any voice
Hmm.
control, iPhone, iPad, uh, to ask them out there.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, and one other thing, just to note, I think I may have mentioned it earlier, but on the Ian's Ride resources talk voice control page, we do have outlines, AI summaries, and the full video recording available there if you wanted to see
Okay,
past
cool.
or just see
Yeah,
summaries of past meetings.
Todd S. told me all about this meeting.
All right, Todd S. Yeah, but there's two Todd S's, unfortunately.
Stablefeld.
Yeah.
We knew who you were talking about,
Yeah.
but that is funny. All right, guys, we're about wrapped up. Any final words? Well, thank you guys for not making me be alone on this call. wouldn't be wouldn't be much fun there, but I definitely have some good stuff to share with the accessibility team, and hopefully we've all learned something.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right,
Definitely
guys.
did. Look forward to it next month.
Have a great day, guys.
Yes. Hang up.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.